accessory building shall exceed the height of the principal building. That's it. Period. No other language. Period.
Okay.
Simple.
Simple. Simple is easy.
Easy to interpretation. You don't have.
People know if they,
Yep.
their house can't be taller than the garage. Well, if it's this, it can be that, and if it's not, you can't.
Okay.
I think by simplifying it, it cuts down the confusion and the aggravation. Because when you start reading stuff and it has all the, can be this but not that or that, but no matter how much you thought about it, you're going to start to second guess yourself.
I know I've seen some real large houses with little tiny garages, and the garage looks out of place. It's too small. It just doesn't
That's all they could
fit.
afford.
That's all they want.
Okay. Are we done doing this for right now?
Yeah, now we have to,
We've got that table thing.
Right. But do
so we need to
to
close this. We need to get a motion on this. Let Ben go through it, Ben and Craig and Greg.
So we must table this until it comes back with the revamps before we can adopt set forward, not, you know.
Let me read the changes and you can tell me if you want to table it or not. The three changes that I tracked out are, under the accessory buildings, no accessory building shall exceed the height of the principal building. That's that, into that one. Under the terraces and steps, instead of 15 feet, we'll leave it at 10 for the setback.
Or we're gonna do something with ground level.
That's later.
Well, that's in the ground floor level of the principal building and maintain a 2-foot minimum side yard and a 15-foot street and avenue setback.
Right, we're talking decks, porches,
Yep.
coverage, stoop, steps.
Yep.
We're gonna get some definitions.
We'll get some definitions in there
Yeah.
as well on those, but right now, the 15-foot setback remains.
I thought we were going down to 10.
I would think we're going to 10.
10, okay.
10 was the
10.
recommendation.
Sorry.
Are you agreeing on
Jeremy's
that?
question, are
That's
we emptying sidewalks and patios ground level?
Something on the
That's
floor.
below 30 inches. Right at the end there, you have that 30-inch.
Yeah, that would. Because it doesn't say patios here.
But some of that will be limited again by the pervious,
Terrace,
impervious land. And you're not gonna be able to cover everything with a wooden stoop.
Terrace is ground level with,
You know, stone.
yeah.
So you don't want these setbacks to apply if the thing is 30 inches or less off the ground.
Well, why would you? I mean,
And we're having a 2-foot setback, I think is what we said here. 0-foot setback. Okay. Is that right? Or you want to discuss that?
I see some people thinking.
Well, you can put anything 30 inches up to 10 feet from the property line then, if it's 30 inches or less. Is that what we're after?
Well, I think what I was thinking was,
Right
what I was thinking you were saying is
10 feet.
anything less than 30 inches can be right up to the property line. Or you could say you want a 2-foot setback because you want to be able to get around it without
I
trespassing.
think that 2-foot setback, I'm not so sure how neighbor properties are gonna take this if you have a 30-inch high something right up to the, maybe
I wouldn't put it right up to the line.
No.
I think you want a 2-foot or maybe a 5-foot setback.
I think 5 foot. It gives you room to take a riding lawnmower through there nice and,
Absolutely.
you know,
And running one, where's that? Who's what?
5 foot, 40, 52-inch deck. Gives you a little room. We'll have to limit the size of the decks on the lawnmowers then. I'm
So
just
this would-
thinking.
This would pertain to like a retaining wall in front of your yard?
Over 30 inches.
Yeah, it could be retaining wall. if you wanted it.
So all the retaining walls along the first would be illegal to replace.
Over 30 inches.
So almost got to be pretty close to 30 inches, and then there's a hospital, no risk of putting lots this side.
Might as well be on the property line.
They're all the way on the property line, right?
Well, yeah, I think,
If they crumbled out, you wouldn't be able to replace it, maybe it's 2 feet back, 5 feet back, 10 feet back.
Okay, it's over 30 inches.
Yeah.
you know, if it's a retaining wall, it's, I would consider a retaining wall to be almost like a maintenance-free fence. Which means it could be right up to the property line. And I'm assuming that it's gonna be, maybe we have to specify this, but you know, if it's like a 1 foot wide or maybe 2 foot wide at the most. If you get wider than that, then it becomes like a patio deck or something.
Next to skip and stuff.
Because what would you consider 30 inches? From road grade, from finished grade, from your house grade? Where's the 30 inches from?
Adjacent ground, I guess.
Yeah, property, adjacent property
You
owner's
got-
ground.
Here to there. You go along First Street.
And then,
What's finished grade?
then
the
he
highway
could put
or-
up
Maybe the
a
sidewalk.
retaining wall 30 inches higher than your retaining wall, producing your, that thing way up there.
I think those are just put in the front yard.
It's just for erosion, yeah.
Yeah, and those would be replaced even if they had a variance or conditional use. I don't think we need to address that specifically.
Well, would we want to require them to come in and give variance or conditional use to replace something that shouldn't be there to begin with? That's the question I have. If it's more than 30 inches, should they have to come and pay the fee to get a variance to replace something that we generally, as a whole, everyone in the city wants to be there? Or if they say, screw it, I'm not gonna spend whatever the fee is.
Let
Let
it
it
wash
wash down into First Street and into Drip.
Right over the sidewalk, right out into the street.
They'd have to get the sidewalk in.
You might have shut it out, I suppose.
But you have to put up some stones to keep it from happening again.
Yeah, we can't require it to
What
get
if-
there.
what if-
Is
it's
there
never-
anything in
Yeah.
there as far as landscaping in order to prevent erosion?
What is erosion control in here?
So that wouldn't that fall under that?
That's one back.
That's-
That's all the wall, you know.
That's another chapter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, there's certain things you can't use anymore. You can't use treated timbers like railroad ties and stuff like that. You have to follow the guidelines for what you can use for eliminating erosion. Along riverways, you cannot put any man-made concrete or anything. It has to be natural field stone or for riprap. And that stuff's all in place already. You know, because now we're talking back property lines, you're allowed to put riprap along the river edge that goes way up over 30 inches. But this is dealing with erosion. So I'd say, you know, in front lawns and stuff on boulevards and streets and
Is erosion control,
it's an erosion issue.
as long as everybody's clear that when, if and when a complaint would come in, that's what it falls under. I don't,
They'd have to come in and if they're saying they want to put up an 8-foot high something, when we look at it, that it probably would eliminate erosion. It's not going to be a safety issue. Then we have to go accordingly.
Because this is for side yard, street and avenue setback, not a rear yard or property line. Right,
Because that whole area would be coming down right into the street if
it's not adjacent to the street, so.
look into that erosion issue, and if, what he's talking about, putting landscape block stuff in there, how that falls into that.
What's the 30-inch thing?
It's even on property lines, someone isn't gonna stick in a 5-foot high, but if for some reason there's a chance a lot of your property is gonna be going into your neighbor's yard, then you could go up to 30 inches, and if it's anything higher than that, you almost have to take it to the erosion issue.
You know, foresee anybody necessarily doing something like that. but
Sometimes I wonder, you just sit there and you think of these things just to,
Well, once you
Well,
get
I don't
over
like
that
to see
30
people
inch
have to
mark,
come
you
in
start
and
getting
and
the
stuff.
Yeah.
railings. So
30
You're
inches,
right.
right?
you're
Or
right.
double step.
It's kind of redundant, but we got, with the light of the modern mentality, you almost have to put it as advocate and everything. But just because I wouldn't care, doesn't mean that 10 other people wouldn't care.
It is a whole lot easier in Little Falls than it is in Minneapolis, or where they go to quarter inches. You know, they used to build a lot of ornamental fences, and every time I tried to put them in, I'd have to have a surveying crew out there, and it was nuts. And then the neighbors would fight because the neighbor didn't like the design, or it was endless. At least here it's more tolerable.
What was your third and final one?
Third and final one was under G, farming operations. Operations in existence on or before June 3rd, 1974, or at the time of annexation, permitted to continue operations subject to the following conditions.
That sounds good.
Perfect. So, we will get back to you on the retaining walls, how that gets into there. But otherwise, does the rest of that kind of sound agreeable?
I think so. We have to make a motion and, okay, entertain a motion at this point.
Well, to do what? To have them continue to work on the very thing?
No,
I don't know that he needs a motion.
to adopt the changes,
Because they're gonna bring this back and then we're gonna make a motion to accept it.
well, I asked a question, do we need a motion or not? And I thought
yes.
not,
Oh,
so don't get on my case about it.
another side, those are working.
If you're okay with it, we can just discuss these, have consensus that's pretty much in line with, except for the thing we do. Next month, we'll move on to probably section 1105 or something, and come back to you with that, and spend most of our time talking about that, maybe a little bit of time.
Well, that sounds good.
Okay.
And we'll just keep moving on until we get to the end.
Right.
Can we just keep tabling these and at the end, table this to,
Would you have 60 days once you table it, or
Well, this is.
No, that's not bad.
open-ended? Okay.
Right.
the thing is, if we want to change, come back and then adopt it all at the end and send it forward to the council if we're going to piecemeal it together and send it forward.
That's kind of what we were doing, going through these couple
Right,
sections.
that's 3 and 4,
If
so.
you send that whole thing to the council, it better have an extended meeting that night, because it will take time.
They'll never
Work session.
understand it anyhow.
You'd be
I
surprised.
think we just table it for next month, then we can come back and we can address it.
Okay,
Changes and.
okay. Any other business? Let's,
We need a motion on this, and we're going to table, motion on the table. We need a motion to table this.
Make a
the
motion
plan here.
to
What are we tabling? We're still discussing it.
You gotta have action on it though. At a public hearing, don't you?
You're tabling it so you can continue to discuss it next week.
you made a motion to table.
All right.
Any discussion
Okay.
next-
Anyone else gonna make a second on this?
Yes.
Okay,
Gotcha.
Makes you happy.
motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now let's open up the earlier tabled discussion we had with pertaining to Mr. Roach.
Do we need a motion to open it back up before we open it back up?
I can just open that
Just
up.
open up, because we tabled it to
Okay.
last.
Any further discussion on that? What do you guys think now, after we discussed that whole section?
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the variance request as, I don't quite know how to say it. We must, let's approve the variance. It looks like the language is going to accommodate him in the future, but why make him wait? He's already made his application, he's paid his fees. Give him the variance now.
Is that your motion?
Yes,
Okay, is there a second?
let's come wait.
Well, thank you, very good.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion?
You got a second?
No,
Yeah,
Right here.
Okay.
yes.
I guess what I would say is, if we look careful on this, I mean, just because you might change the ordinances
Doesn't
probably
mean we're
sufficient.
going to.
I think if
I
you have
have-
other reasons for why you think that they're justified in having this practice.
okay, I believe that it's justified for the aesthetic reasons as stated.
Mr. Rowe?
Aesthetically, it fits the residential area. It continues to work with and the existing architecture of the buildings that are already on the land. I think those two reasons alone would be adequate enough to allow him to build that garage.
I say is, I'm not in favor of giving the variance, because I have turned down and been in on meetings where we turned down a variance for probably even more important reasons at that time, but we weren't willing to change because it was code. And Mr. Roach can wait to see what happens, and then if we do change the height restriction, he probably doesn't even need to face us again. He's not planning on building until spring anyway. There's no hurry, so I'm not in favor of giving him a variance right now.
Is there, how long is this request good for?
We have to make a decision, well, 60 days, but we can extend that another 60, so we have 120 days.
But Mr. Roach's request,
120 days.
120 days, we have to make a decision, yes or no.
so will this be done in 120 days of new language that?
Maybe, but I wouldn't count.
No, so did he lose his fee, did he pure fee for this?
How much was that fee?
325.
You can, if you want, you could table it, and then as it got close to the 120 days, we could put it back on the agenda and make a decision at that point. But
120 days.
if nothing's gonna change, I mean, if you go with Frank's argument, which is the ordinance has to change for this to happen, it's either gonna change or it's not gonna change. And if you go with Ray's argument that we should grant this because there's reasons to do it independent of whether the ordinance changes, then we can do that.
Per se, this all went through before Mr. Roach's 120 days came up. Would his fee go back to him? Okay, it's gone. Once it hit the office, it's
Once we publish it and once we had the public hearing.
okay.
The clock starts ticking.
Yep.
It's there to cover the cost of the public hearing, so it's,
And if we recommend this, the council's gonna look at this. If you choose to go along with Ray's recommendation, the council still has to look at it, and they're probably gonna consider some of these things through their discussions anyway, and it has to be okayed by them. So I'm all right either way, but I'm just not in favor of giving variance right now.
I understand that argument, and that wasn't part of what happened.
Yeah.
Obviously, before I was on board.
The disadvantage if we deny his variance now, and it doesn't pass, it's another $325 again to reapply for another variance after the fact, if he wants to come back. Versus tabling it now.
Need it tabled?
and it don't pass.
Or you can
we
vote
don't
on
change
it.
the ordinance.
You could
that's-
vote on it. What are you gonna gain in 120 days that we haven't discussed tonight anyway? I'm just saying what my feelings are towards it.
Well, how many times could he have the request extended? 120? That's max?
Well, yeah, I guess
He can
he does
request-
have the option of signing off that time limit and just giving us however long you want it.
Well, he has that off.
Or he can, not for however long you want, but he could say, I'll give you a year, I'll give you 6 months, or maybe.
It's kind of extraordinary circumstances that his request is falling in the middle of the discussion of the change.
Yeah.
So either we, I don't want to use the words punish, but delay his request because we can't make a decision.
What time is it sensitive for? So is that necessarily in a hurry?
He should do a spring bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was,
but will we be, well, there's no guarantee that will be done by spring.
I sure hope we're getting close to it.
Closer.
Yeah.
We've been talking about chapter 11
We're gonna
for,
comp plan.
For
on it.
years.
It's done.
Yes, I know.
Start it done first.
but it,
We're talking about 120 days would be about March 9th. Give or take a few days. After.
Ground's still frozen, doesn't matter, you can dig through frost.
Yeah, Bobcat.
do like they used to do in Bolus, you just put a bunch of tires on the ground and you light them.
Maybe in light of all this, I would be willing to even rescind my motion and just allow the item to remain tabled. Keep it on the agenda until extended through, I don't know.
And then if it does fail, doesn't go through the council, that they want to raise the restrictions, at that point, you can make a decision on if you want to go with a variance or not. Like you said, you can extend his 120 days to go as long as he wants it, right?
We would have to request him, and he would have to approve that.
Okay. That's something between you and him, though. Okay. So you're gonna amend your motion?
I'll just rescind the motion,
Rescind it?
and then the item remains tabled.
Well, I think if you
No,
want
it's
to
over,
table
because
it.
we're going back on, so we have to table till the next meeting or till.
Whatever, table to table,
Yeah.
Well, it's on table now. It's back on.
back on. Take it back.
How would you word that, table it
Indefinitely.
indefinitely, okay? Does
Yeah,
someone
we're
want to
gonna
make that motion?
See it tabled indefinitely.
That's a motion?
Well, this is an opinion. I can make a motion, but I'd rather
Sure.
see it tabled indefinitely while we sort the rest of this out.
Okay.
Either way, I'm in favor of it. There's no doubting that. But it makes more sense because he's not on a deadline to not risk.
And the thing is, if you wanted to make a motion to go with the variance, you could do that today. as
Yeah,
long as
but if
it's
the
seconded.
council were to not approve it, then he's gonna have to come back all over again. And there's a good chance that if the council doesn't approve our discussion of chapter 11, that they're probably not gonna approve a conditional use. But I'm looking at least money out of pocket,
Yeah,
being it's not time sensitive.
okay, let's make the motion.
I make a motion to table indefinitely.
I'll second.
Motion made, seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Are you all right with all this?
Yeah, I'm just fine
It
with
doesn't
it.
matter, we're not changing our mind anyway.
Nope, no problem. Just make a breezeway to the, connected to the house.
There you go.
You have to
As big as you
have,
want.
footings that go down to the existing,
Cross-footed,
yeah.
Nah, it's no big deal. It's just, Couple feet.
Is there a finished meeting?
Escape them.
Oh, yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, so right there. Comprehensive plan, new business, update. What do you have for us?
I think just that the next step is gonna be, we're gonna start drafting some things out and bring them to you for discussion too, so.
You've had all your meetings,
Yep.
We got all the meetings, yeah.
all the information you need. Okay.
We've got a lot of information.
When does the old comprehensive plan kind of fall out?
Whenever the new one comes in.
Yeah. I mean, it
It's
was
been there for how long, 10 years?
2006, I think is when it's.
Yeah, so
Started and
it's a good idea to, every 10 years to do these. I know for HRA, we're on like a 10-year cycle.
Yep.
Okay. Next regular meeting's Monday, December 12th, 2016. At this time, let's end this meeting.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. All those who are in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's over.
Just,